everybody, Jeff here, and today it's the post-race discussion for the Bahrain Grand Prix, continuing off with the F1 2017 season discussions, and just by watching the race, it was pretty decent race, very decent, but Sebastian Vettel ends up winning the Bahrain Grand Prix, and it would be his third win at Bahrain. He won the previous two at 2012 and 2013. Both, I believe, he raced for Red Bull, so that was great. But as the race started, Bottas got on pole. First pole for him ever in his career. So kudos to him. He had a good showing at qualifying. But I said at the end, Vettel was doing better. He had the start, like Sebastian Vettel had the start. I believe he started in third, and as soon as the five lights were out, Sebastian Vettel immediately went ahead of Hamilton and set his eyes on Vettel for the win, like for the lead. And he didn't take the lead until lap 3 when the DRS came, so that was good. And it was a good, it was pretty decent race overall. Sebastian Vettel, it was all Sebastian Vettel versus Lewis Hamilton. Like after, I believe it's at lap 54, we already knew, okay, before lap 54, if Lewis Hamilton could surpass 3 back markers, then he would have catch Vettel and had the chance of the race win. But the problem was his 5-second hit. I believe he had a penalty before his pit, so that was not good in his part. But yeah, it was pretty well. It was pretty well done. It was a battle between Vettel and Hamilton, because again, before the race started, both of them were tied at the top of the drivers' championship with 43 points. I believe so. Yeah, that would be good. That was again decent race, but Kevin Magnussen, he had technical problems. He retired. That's not a pretty good sight for him. Then Max Verstappen had a brake failure, and automatically he crashed. I believe he crashed. Max Verstappen, he did not have a good race at all. So the Red Bulls were doing very well, except for Ricardo. But Max Verstappen, could you believe this? From being on the podium, I believe, being on the podium at the Chinese Grand Prix, now I have to take a look at that right now. Yes, Max Verstappen was third, who took the final podium spot, and he went from being on the podium in China to being out of the race in Bahrain. So, what a turn of events. That's not the way he wanted to go out. And then I believe at lap 13, Lance Stroll, the Canadian, I believe he's out of the race due to a contact with Carlos Sainz, which I believe he got hit. So bad for that's for the Canadian. First, can you believe it? He's the only Canadian in the Formula One season this year. First 3 races of the season, first 3 retirements for Lance Stroll. not a very good start to the season for him, for that Canadian. And yeah, I believe there was an incident between Hamilton and Ricardo. There was an incident that Hamilton backed up Ricardo as he waited Bottas to leave the pit stop. So apparently, Bottas and Hamilton end up double stacking, and Hamilton backed up Ricardo, which makes both of them lose time. So basically, that's not really a good sign, but it was surprising that they don't need to stop again for that penalty. Then there was probably an investigation between Stroll and Sainz. I think there would be like penalties for those two due to an incident. Maybe there's like a time penalty or something, but that would be though. And the fact, like, it's surprising that Vettel had that quick pace because he was pretty fast in all three sectors, and he was pretty fast. That and like as I took a look at the replay for the incident between Lance Stroll and Carlos Sainz, it was the fact that Stroll and Sainz was, I don't know, he just got hit side by side. That was not a good thing for those two. And it seemed pretty decent going on. Quick pace action. Mostly it's between the Mercedes and Ferrari. In the top four. Mostly, but typically when it comes to drivers, that was between the two constructors. But between the two drivers' standpoint, it was all between Hamilton and Sebastian Vettel. And reluctant that Hamilton was, I believe Hamilton, like later on at the race, he had a penalty. He had a 5-second penalty due to something, I can't remember what. But he had to pit, and he had to wait 5 seconds before he could make his pit stop, which was not pretty good for his race at all. And the fact that I did not really realize, but Ericsson did not pit until lap 35. He did not pit until lap 35. That was like, I don't know. But until lap 44, Hamilton was the fastest lap, but he ended with second. And then there were like back markers. If then it made me realize, okay, if sorry, if the back markers could hold Vettel up, then Lewis Hamilton would just come back and just try to win the race. He would have a better chance of winning the race. But I knew that until lap 54 of the race, Sebastian Vettel passed all three back markers, and Lewis Hamilton was very far behind. So there was no chance for Lewis Hamilton to catch him now, and would have a chance to winning the race. Because I knew that once Sebastian Vettel passed the three back markers, because then Sebastian Vettel would have won the race nonstop. Because, like, think of it this way: before the back markers came into play in the final laps of the race, Lewis Hamilton and Sebastian Vettel were 9 seconds apart from each other. So Sebastian Vettel would have had held up, and Lewis Hamilton would have to fly past because of his pace. But after lap 54, when Sebastian Vettel passed those three backmarkers, I knew that okay, that's it. Vettel won this race. There is no way. There is actually no way that Lewis Hamilton can come back now. And like Ericsson at flat 52, he had a gearbox issue. His gearbox broke, so thus ending his race. Lewis, not Lewis. Fernando Alonso had an issue with a. He had an issue with his car, which I don't know what part of his car was, but yeah, he had an engine failure, like an engine problem, so he's out. That's for the Spanish Alonso. And then there was, which makes me feel weird. Which made me feel weird. As like it was between Hamilton and Bottas for second place, and Bottas was in second. Hamilton was in third. I didn't know what they're going to do. I thought they were going to fight it out, but then it seemed like Bottas just let Hamilton pass through. My question was that was that a multi 21? Was that a multi 21? What were those team orders? I know. Comment down on this video what you think of that. Was that multi 21, or did Bottas end up losing a lot of time? Because he was slow. He was slow. And my suggestion was that at first I thought, okay, was it multi 21? Because he was letting Lewis Hamilton pass by, and a part of me was thinking, okay, he was having some issues because he was going slowly. I think he was having some issues with oversteer because he was going massively slow. Like massively slow. And after the checker flag, it was the third win for Vettel, which was really good for the Ferraris, because Ferraris ended up winning the entire thing. And it would put the championship, the drivers' championship, to Vettel leading Hamilton by 7 points. And I'll list down the final of the top 10. We have the winner, Sebastian Vettel, beating Lewis Hamilton, who's in second. We had Valtteri Bottas in third, rounding off the podiums, which I feel like, okay, Bottas had a pole, but that was good. And then in fourth, we have Raikkonen, then Ricciardo, then Massa, then Perez, then Grosjean, then Hulkenberg, then Ocon, and rounding off the top 10. So, anyways, that's all time for you guys. Congratulations to Vettel for winning the Bahrain Grand Prix. First 3, he had a hat trick. Hope you guys enjoy. Comment on what you think of the race, and subscribe to the channel for more. And we'll see you next time in the next race, which yet to be named, which I can't remember, to be honest. What is the next race? What is their next race? I believe the next race would be in Spain. I don't know if I'm right. If I'm right, let's see. No, the next race is the Russian Grand Prix, so we're heading to Russia. But anyways, I'll see you guys next time. Have some fun and peace out.